Of course, this happens on the day the crypto market is absolutely on fire. Bitcoin soaring past $103,000 0 cents this afternoon. XRP smashing $2.30. Wait, scratch that. It's sitting at $2.29 now, but hit a 24-hour high of $2.32. And then, boom, the big news drops. Attorney James K. Flynn confirmed it. The SEC filed the settlement agreement letter. And on a day like this, the market ripping, the vibes immaculate. You just love to see it. It's like the reverse of when it rains, it pours. Today, when it rains gold. And funny enough, I first spotted the news scrolling through my X feed. Attorney John Deaton caught my attention. And honestly, seeing what he had to say just hit different. His impact on this whole process, you can't overstate it. So it felt poetic when his post simply said, "It's over." That's how I got the news, and it couldn't have been a better day for it. Let me break it down for you. There are a few loose ends to tie up, some I's to dot, some T's to cross. But yes, this is pretty much the end. That said, let me be crystal clear. I'm not a financial expert. This isn't financial advice, and under no circumstances should you buy or sell anything based on my words alone. Check this out. The official SEC website has the document live. And yes, it's the real deal. This wouldn't exist if the election in November had gone a different way. Whether you're into politics or not, if you're in crypto, especially an XRP holder, we can at least agree this is a huge win. It's incredible to see XRP come out on top. Even Bloomberg is all over this with the headline, SEC seeks to settle legal fight with Ripple Labs for $50 million 0 cents. Remember, we've been waiting for the SEC commissioners to vote on this, and now we've got the green light. The document officially dropped today, and thanks to Attorney Filand, it's all over social media. Take a look at this intriguing development. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has taken a significant step towards settling its longstanding legal battle with Ripple Labs, Inc. In what seems like a shift in its approach to crypto cases, the SEC and Ripple have agreed to ask a federal court in Manhattan to lift an injunction against the company. They'll also seek to release over $125 million 0 cents held in an escrow account as per a settlement agreement filed Thursday. Here's the breakdown. $50 million of 0 cents would go to the SEC, while the remainder heads back to Ripple, according to the filing. Now, here's an interesting twist. Rumors had swirled about these payments potentially being made in XRP, Ripple's cryptocurrency. But as of now, there's no sign that's actually happening. Brad Garlinghouse recently hinted at ongoing talks with the SEC about possibly paying the fine in XRP. But the goal? To have the funds end up in the US Treasury. Interestingly, if the Treasury were to manage a strategic crypto reserve for altcoins, they'd oversee this too, setting up a fascinating dynamic. It's an intriguing prospect that almost feels too fitting if it comes to fruition. However, no final decisions have been shared yet, and it's still unclear how this will ultimately play out. But if things do move in that direction, the US government could end up holding a substantial amount of XRP. For now, it's all speculation, and for those of us on the outside, the details remain under wraps. The SEC has decided to drop its case against Ripple Labs, citing its focus on reforming crypto regulations rather than the merits of the claims. The lawsuit filed in December 2020 accused Ripple of violating securities laws by selling its XRP token without registering it as a security. Initially, the agency sought nearly $2 billion, 0 cents in penalties. However, the court ruled that XRP only fell under securities laws when sold to institutional investors, a decision celebrated as a win for the crypto industry. But let's clear the air. That interpretation isn't entirely accurate. Media outlets often misreport this. The ruling wasn't about institutional sales being inherently fine. Instead, it addressed specific transactions flagged by the SEC. Plus, the injunction focused on stopping Ripple from conducting similar transactions, not issuing a blanket ruling for XRP sales in general. To clarify, the case centers on Ripple's sales, whether programmatic via exchanges or institutional. But here's the kicker. This ruling applies solely to Ripple. So while the crypto world might cheer, this isn't a universal victory just yet. In August, a judge ordered Ripple to cough up $125 million 0 cents, a mere fraction of the SEC's initial demands. Not everyone was thrilled, though. SEC Commissioner Caroline Crenshaw dissented, claiming the settlement undermines the court. Let's not forget, this is the same Crenshaw who enthusiastically voted to sue Ripple, dragging all of us XRP holders into the crossfire. Well, Crenshaw, congratulations. You've officially earned a gift basket of eggplant emojis. Here's a gem from her. This settlement, alongside the programmatic disassembly of the SEC's crypto enforcement program, does a tremendous disservice to the investing public and undermines the court's role in interpreting our securities laws. Inspiring, right? So, XRP fam, is this decision a blow to your crypto dreams, or is this just another out-of-touch Democrat commissioner with an inexplicable vendetta against crypto trying to crush our shot at life-changing wealth? Call me crazy, but I'm leaning toward the latter. Since President Donald Trump took office and vowed to curb crypto regulation by enforcement, the SEC has hit the brakes on several legal cases and investigations targeting crypto companies. Among them, big-name lawsuits against Coinbase and Binance. Meanwhile, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse revealed they've spent a jaw-dropping $150 million, 0 cents, on legal fees so far, and with an extra $50 million, 0 cents, piled on, they are well past the $200 million, 0 cents mark. I'm no math genius, but even I can connect those dots. Crazy news, right? Eleanor Tarrant just dropped some major updates. The SEC has reached a settlement with Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, and Chris Larson. Ripple will pay $50 million, 0 cents of the original $125 million, 0 cents penalty, with the rest being returned. Yep, you heard that right. Here's the kicker. Both sides have agreed to drop their appeals if the court lifts the injunction on Ripple. Attorney John Deaton weighed in, calling it absolutely shocking if Judge Torres doesn't agree to remove the injunction under these terms. Honestly, this deal seems like a no-brainer, and while there's always a slim chance of a hiccup, no attorneys on social media have raised red flags about it so far, at least not yet. Still, this is fresh news, so anything's possible, but so far, the legal community seems optimistic. Oh, and attorney Bill Morgan from the XRP community chimed in too, calling this the beginning of the end for the SEC versus Ripple saga. Thanks, James, for the great summary. Here's an interesting take from Fred Rispoli, a respected attorney in the XRP community. Fred humbly admits he's not always right, though he doubts anyone could out-argue him. But when it comes to law and legal strategy, his track record speaks for itself. In a post from March 25th, Fred shared his prediction on how things might unfold, confidently suggesting it would all wrap up within 60 days. While I won't read the full post here, it's up on your screen now. And wouldn't you know it, events have played out just as he predicted. Credit where credit's due. Well done, Fred. Attorney James K. Folan has laid out the roadmap for what's coming next, and it's big. First, Judge Torres needs to issue an indicative ruling to determine if she will dissolve the injunction and free up the escrow funds, with $50 million, 0 cents, heading to the SEC and the rest returning to Ripple. Second, if that ruling happens, the SEC and Ripple will jointly request a limited remand from the Second Circuit to send the case back to Judge Torres for the proposed resolution. Next, upon approval of the remand, the two parties will file a motion with Judge Torres to finalize the relief. Then comes the climax, the injunction gets dissolved, the funds are distributed, and both Ripple's cross appeal and the SEC's appeal are withdrawn. Case closed. In short, this is the beginning of the end. The finish line is here, and we all know it. It's effectively over. Time for the curtain call. Some procedural steps are in motion, and it seems likely things will unfold as expected. That's the general consensus from attorneys weighing in. There's not much worry here. But what's really grabbing attention is how XRP has been skyrocketing alongside the rest of the crypto market today. Interestingly, when the news broke, there wasn't an obvious XRP specific surge. It just kept climbing in sync with the broader market. Bitcoin, while hovering just below $103,000, 0 cents, made its own significant move. And if you compare the charts, XRP's action mirrors Bitcoin's almost perfectly. It seems the market isn't reacting specifically to this news, which is fascinating in itself. Maybe you think so too, especially after all the turbulence we've weathered in the crypto space over the past few years. All of this is fascinating and carries a lot of weight, at least it does to me. But looking at the global markets, they aren't exactly skyrocketing because of the news. Besides, as I've mentioned many times, this outcome was already baked into expectation. If anything, it could have been a sell the news moment, but today feels different. There's some real excitement in the air. Right now, as I'm recording this, things are looking pretty damn solid. Take XRP, for example. Its 24-hour low was $2.12, and now it's up to $2.32. That's a solid jump, especially with the whole market catching fire. Gotta love it, right? And I'll keep you posted as things unfold, but here we are, folks. We've absolutely nailed it. What a wild ride it's been. Quick reminder, I'm not a financial advisor. don't make any buy or sell moves based on what I say or write. Seriously, that would be a catastrophically bad idea.